Okay, so we are in database design and development, and today is the fourth learning outcome of this unit. And Abid is also here, Lawrence as well. And let me catch up little bit. Recap we discussed the understanding the database management system in the unit 1. Then in learning outcome 1, and in the learning outcome 2, we discuss how to design a relational database for the client brief. And in the third learning outcome, yesterday we discussed the implementation of database, and more specifically we discussed that how to execute the SQL commands. So SQL commands and how to create the SQL queries. Abid, do you remember that I gave an idea to execute the SQL commands online on W3?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, remember that.
Abid, how do you remember it?
Yeah, we did that before.
Yeah. So in order to catch up the things, because SQL is the heart of any programmer, any IT professional, and you always need SQL whenever you create any project, whenever you are going database, whenever you are doing any web development, software development, you cannot live without the SQL. Yeah. So the more you are good at SQL, you are good at fulfilling the requirements of your clients. Yeah. So obviously SQL, you need a kind of platform to execute or use the database. LAMP and BAME, these are the integrated kind of solutions. They provide you the server as a middleware, and at the back end you get a database and database of MySQL, and hence you should be able to create any online web application. Yeah. So today is, we assume that you designed the database, you implemented the database, and now we are going to review the process of design and implementation of the database. So the reviewing of the database and would be basically dependent on the documentation, that what was proposed and what is implemented. Yeah, you can only review the database. You can have a look at what was proposed and whether the requirements are fulfilled or not. Okay, so how this is basically the critical evaluation of the design documentation, and obviously identifying any improvements where appropriate, and review the database implementation process to establish the lessons learned. Yeah, so let us start through the slides. Database documentation. A database documentation or database design documentation is basically documenting a database during its development. Is a best practice to ensure that the organizational schema, data objects, and other related information are captured for future reference. So everything you are going to develop, it needs to be documented in a way that whenever needed, the structure could be referenced for future. Make sense? Does it make sense that your documentation should be used for future?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, obviously, because if you are a developer, you created a database and you don't know that what did you create, and obviously whoever will be interested to work on it, or you are interested to give a brief, then you can always and only refer to the documentation that what you have done. It is a very good approach that documentation is basically used for obviously the current use as well as the future use, whoever wants to use it any purpose at any time. Yeah. So this documentation is often takes many forms, including data dictionary. Data dictionary is basically the information about the database structure, whatever is in the database you have created. It is stored in the data dictionary for the different purposes, and the documentation could be the use for the database administrator guides, so that the administrators could use it as a guidance. The database architecture documentation, what is the architecture of the database? Architecture, like how it is architectured. What is its structure, what is its the internal layout, how it is designed, and the database functional specification, that how functionally the database is defined. Okay. Normally use the term data dictionary to refer to the database documentation. So when you talk about the database documentation, it means you are dealing with the data dictionary. Yeah. Database documentation serves multiple audiences, including data architects. Yeah. So the documentation is used for data architects, the database architects, the architects who purely make an architecture of the database. You must have heard about the architectures of buildings. Yeah. They basically give the architecture, layout plan and everything for the buildings, and obviously the similar way the database architects, they get the benefit from the documentation. The database developers, the developers basically follow the architect given by the database architects. Yeah. Look at the terminologies. Once you get the architecture, and developers develop according to architect, and then the database administrators, they administer the developed database, and then obviously the production support staff, they use it, and then the quality assurance staff, they also get the benefit from the data dictionary or database documentation. Make sense?
Yeah.
So from the starting point of view until the usage and its monitoring, the database documentation is helpful. Like anything, you get a manual, instruction manual, which explains everything. And if you don't have the manual for example, any new device, then obviously you are helpless. You can't do anything. Yeah.
Yes.
The information included in the data dictionary is hidden from normal users. That is true, that normal user is not able to look at the information in the data dictionary. Users, to prevent any corruption of its contents. So it is only usable by certain people who can sensibly use it and are needed to use it. If it is exposed to any common user, then obviously they can disturb the, let's say, the structure, they can change the types of the data, whatever, and will be harmful for the structure of the database. While the data dictionary in a database serves an administrative and management function, it does not include any actual database data. So mind it, the data dictionary does not hold database data. For example, the customer information or order ID information, the records will not be stored into the data dictionary, but the data about data means data about the tables, the name of the tables that you are using, and whatever these things are, they are used to store into the data dictionary. Though a relational database management system requires a data dictionary to access data from the database. Yeah. So if you want a database, you want to access the data from the database, then you should be able to get the data from the data dictionary. For example, the database is in front of you and you are not instructed that what the list of tables is stored into the database. You can easily inquire the database, list all tables, and you will be able to list everything, and then you can understand the database is about what. Yeah. Now the database documentation or database design documentation, the typical elements to include in your database documentation are: you should consider capturing the following information in your database documentation. The data element number. Yeah, you remember that in previous lectures we focused that anything should be an element. An element could be any person or any place or or something like that. Yeah. So that particular element should be given a number. Yeah. Then the data element name should also be given. Which element is it? Which is the commonly agreed upon unique data element. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the data element name is generally decided upon during the design phase with some influence from the requirements gathering phase. So it shouldn't be the case that the data element name you proposed is only understandable to you and the one who wanted the database developed doesn't have any agreement on the name of the data element. Makes sense? So it should be an agreeable name between the you and the one who want it. Then short description of the data element, security classification for the data element. The security classification is generally an organizationally specific of concern. The database development team and the organization security team, if any, both have a vested interest here and should be involved in the security classification. Other influences on security classification include the requirements document, functional specification, and design document for the database under development. Security classification for particular element. For example, that if it is a financial database, then the most, for example, the usernames or user addresses, yeah, or user critical data, how you would be securing that particular element. Probably any user can have a look on that particular element, or only a restricted number of people can have a look on that particular element. So really depends that how organization is giving a kind of certain value to that particular element. Yeah. And then list of related data elements with important relations to the specific data element. So whatever the relevant data elements are you need, and what is the relation to that particular element, the data element we are talking about. So obviously you should be able to know that which elements are related with that particular element you are proposing. Yeah. Field names based upon the technical names provided with the database schema or relational database management system. So over here, what we are discussing, that any element include in the database or database documentation, it should have this kind of information. Probably you advised any element and you didn't care about these things, then obviously you did not well document it. Yeah, make sense?
Yeah.
So normally you don't take care about anything. You just randomly select any element name, but it should have some sense to be selected, and with that particular information that you really want to include and be useful as database design documentation. Typical elements include in your database documentation the code format, including any needed special presentation and type format and size. So in addition to the elements, you should be able to decide the format of that particular data element as well, that what will be the excuse me, type of that particular data element. Yeah. And obviously the default value is specifying whether the data value may have a default value, any variables for the default value should be listed here or whatever. So it's not only the case that you chose any data element, but you need to select the type of the data element as well as the default value, what default value you want it. If it is let's say currency, you need to start with a 0. Yeah. If it is a date type of data element, then you cannot put the default value as a 0. Maybe you can start, you can insert the any date format. That's important. Element coding, providing an explanation of coding and validation rules. Whatever wherever the element will be used, then it should have a clear explanation that how that can be used while encoding and what will be its rules. References to other documents listing any validation rules between this element and other elements documented in your database documentation and data dictionary. So database table references should be there. Data source for the element should also be there. Valid dates for the data element, the history references, external references, data element version. So actually this is a kind of detailed history and the detailed requirements in order to document the database, and generally this is a kind of general one, and the more specifically when you will really be creating the database and you will be talking more technically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Database table information documentation, you will also need the database table documentation. So if it is a table, previously we were talking about, yeah, now we are going to talk about the table. So such database table information, for example, from the SQL database with the SQL command. So you can inquire the table as well, like that what does that table contain. For example, if it is a customer table, then you can each and every thing into the table, probably help or describe commands, they explain the table. So you can go through the SQL again. You played last time with the SQL commands, and I believe it's a describe or help, really depends, that it will explain to you everything regarding the table. Google right now. Now see, DESC SQL plus command describe an Oracle table, view, synonym package, and these things. Yeah, and W3C school. So, like yesterday with Lawrence, I discussed some of the commands like select, where, and delete, update, and certain database creation commands are there: create a database, drop database, create table, drop table, alter table, constants, not null, unique, primary key, check, default, auto increment, text view, injection, hosting, and these commands are in the SQL, and like we did such that describe is a command which will explain the table itself. Yeah. So we come back to this slide. So if it is a database table, then you should be concerned about the table name, the table owner name, the data element column names and details, key order for the elements, that how they will be sorted, database index information, technical table organization, duplicate row information, are the duplicate rows allowed or not, data element list, table security classification. So these things like a highlight are related with the table. Yeah. In the previous slide, things were related with a data element. So just assume that even a single entity has many more characteristics, as well as one table has more characteristics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just not use the database, but what we are discussing here, that one thing, just a single element, needs to be documented in this way. A table, instead of its data, has these things to be decided as well. Now, the database architecture itself focuses on design. When you talk about the database architecture, you talk about design, development, implementation, and maintenance of computer programs that store and organize information for businesses, agencies, and institutions. A database architect develops and implements software to meet the needs of users. Several types of databases, including relational or multimedia, may be created. So mind it, it's not only the relational database when you look at the architecture in the tables, but you can base a database as a multimedia. It can be a database in the object-oriented database. It can be a network database. So the structures can be different. Probably you might be able to understand different types of data. There is a unit, data structures. You might have studied the data structures. Teach you, like when you say a number, when you say a list, when you say an array, when you say any node, when you say any tree. So the organization of data can be done into different data. Yeah. So if I say a row, yeah, how the row will be connected? Like row will be a 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I ask a tree, the tree will be a node, then the second node, and the third node, and then a child and another child. So these are the structures. So similar way, the data bases have different types. Additionally, the database architects may use several languages to create a databases, such as structured query languages. You might be familiar with the Oracle and Microsoft Access, which are two common database programs. So if you know this, then Microsoft Access or any other database, like many databases occurring and from the different companies, but the basics are same. Now, what are components of database? quick answer, a database components includes one or more tables for the data, a query language that retrieves specific data elements and forms for entering or displaying data. Additional components include reporting tools and customized views of data. Relational databases have a schema that defines the relationship between tables and may include components that automate routine tasks. So schemas are basically the further mechanism to view the database. Yeah, they work according to certain predefined rules, and you get the output of your data accordingly. Now we review the database development review is the next topic, and the design review. So in this topic, we are going to evaluate the database. Yeah, you can review the database design. How reviews are an important aspect of the system development lifecycle for database applications. So whenever, yeah, are you getting the voice? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting the voice.
Okay. Yeah. So design review are important aspect of the system development lifecycle for database application. It is during the design review that all aspects of database and application code are reviewed for efficiency, effectiveness, and accuracy. So when you want to develop a database, then you need to focus on all aspects and application code so that you should get an efficient, effective, and accurate database.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all aspects. It is imperative that all database applications, regardless of their, are reviewed to assure that the application was designed properly, efficient coding techniques were used, and database is assessed, modified correctly and efficiently. The design review is an important process for checking validity of design decisions and correcting errors before the applications and databases are promoted to production status. Yeah. There are 7 basic design reviews phases for a database application. Yeah. So what are those? We just discuss the design review. So design review is to review all aspects of database.
MSF.
So there are 7 basic database. So which design? Like a conceptual design view, logical design review, physical design review, organizational design review, and application code design review, pre-implementation design review, post-implementation design review. Is it clear, Lawrence?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah,
with you.
I hope you are clear. Yeah. Okay. So, Abid, is it clear as well? Hello.
I'm with
Okay.
you.
Okay. Yeah, Abid not listening. That's fine. So, the design review needs to be done. It is for all aspects, and more specifically, the design review is about the conceptual design, logical design, physical design, organizational design, SQL application code, pre-implementation, post-implementation. Yeah. Now we go further into the detail about the conceptual design review. The first phase should be the conceptual design review. The purpose of this review is to validate the application concept. So, conceptual design review will help you to validate the application concept. Initially, you got an idea to create the database, then you need to validate the concept. This involves a presentation of the statement of purpose as well as general overview of desired functionality that will be provided by the application. A conceptual design review should be conducted as early as possible to determine the overall feasibility of a project. Yeah. Failure to conduct a conceptual design review can result in projects which provide the duplicate or inadequate functionality, projects which are cancelled due to the lack of funds, staffing, planning, user participation, and management interest, over budget projects. So, if you don't do initially the conceptual design review, then you can face these problems like a duplicate or inadequate functionality, lack of funds, management interest, over budget projects. So concept, overall feasibility of the design or project is to be done in the conceptual design review. That is that's a kick start for anything to go ahead with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Logical design view. The second phase is the logical design review. This should be conducted when the first cut of the logical data model has been completed, and then a thorough review of all the data elements, descriptions, and relationships should occur during the logical design view. The logical design review should scrutinize the following areas. Has the logical model been thoroughly examined to ensure that all of the required business functionality can be achieved based solely upon the model? Is the model in at least third normal form? Okay.
Yeah.
You know that what is the third normal form? Have all of the elements, entities, and attributes required for the application been? Have the data elements been which have been identified been documented accurately? Have all of the relationships been defined properly? So logically, you created the the logical, and the logical model has to be gone through, and it should be in the third normal form. All the data elements to be identified. Have the data elements like a second form of logic, that what would be included, what will be the data elements, what would be the name of the elements, like a second meeting for the implement for designing something. Then physical design review. Physically, like you are going to create the architecture in a particular database. For example, it is the component in which most DB2 developers, like a database developers, associate with the design review process. This is where the database is reviewed in detail to ensure that all the proper design choices are made. In addition, the data administrator and the database administrator. Mind it, the data administrator is the top hierarchy and not related with that how the software will be using or how they will be stored, but their core responsibility is to provide or look at the data, that what is the data being used, and the database administrator coordinates with the data administrator and enables to get the data stored. Yeah, should ensure that the proper translation from logical to physical was made, including conformance to standards, mapping to appropriate database objects, and performance tweaking for physical database management system issues. Additionally, all denormalization decisions are to be documented for posterity. So you initially discussed the concept, then you came to logical skeleton, and then from the logical skeleton you came to physical design. You really created a design that which tables in a database terminology will be used and how those will be used, which elements will be designed. Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that clear?
Yes.
Then organizational design review, smaller in scope. Organization review doesn't have a bigger scope, but no less critical in organization design review. This review addresses the enterprise-wide concerns of the organization with respect to the application being reviewed. So it is important that you should review the requirements regarding the organization demand. If they are happy, then you go ahead. Common points to include: how does this system interact with other systems in the organization? It shouldn't be the case that you have designed the system and it is not easy to be deployed in the organization. Yeah, so you should know that how it will be interacted within an organization. Has the logical data model for this application been integrated with the enterprise data model? So enterprises, organizations have a data model. They work accordingly, and their data model should be compatible with the design model of your database, logical database. Make sense?
Yeah.
To what extent can this application share the data of other applications? To what extent can other applications share this application's data? So they should be compatible so that they can communicate each other. They can be transformed from the data, from the enterprise data into the database, and from the database to enterprise itself, wherever they need to exchange the data. So if you will not review this, then obviously you will have lots of problems, lots of legacy problems for integrating the new system with the old system. That's a common problem. SQL design review. You need to design the SQL. You need SQL design review must occur for each SQL statement prior to production turnover. SQL design review should consist of the following: like explain should be run for each SQL statement, and the plan tables should be the analyzed to determine if the most efficient access paths have been chosen. This is a kind of more technical, and every program should be reviewed in order to validate the SQL statements. For example, if you are connecting your database with COBOL, Java, C, then they are probably little bit less efficient for the integration. So you make sure that your SQL is compatible, efficient, and can be validated with all integratable objects and the database connectivity. This is about that. Yeah, you should review the structure. Yeah. Pre-implementation design review. This is the sixth phase, which is the pre-implementation design. This simply consists of an overall review of the system components prior to implementation. Loose ends which exist from the previous 5 phases should be cleaned up and final. Quick review of each activity performed. So pre-implementation review should be done. How? This simply consists of an overall review of the system components prior to implementation. Before you implement, you should review loose ends which exist from the previous 5 phases should be cleaned up. Quick review of each application component should be performed. So before you implement, you make sure that previous reviews have been done. It is important. If the previous reviews have not been done, then it means they are implement. So this is the pre-implementation design review. Post-implementation, final test. This is necessary in order to determine if the application is meeting its overall objectives. So post-implementation is to check whether it is meeting the overall objectives or not. These objectives include both performance objectives and functionality objectives. How it is performing, whether it is giving functionality or not. If any objective is not being met, a plan for addressing the deficiency must be proposed and acted upon. Multiple post ITR phases can occur. This is a kind of implementation. So multiple post implementation design review phases can occur if it is has to be reviewed. So post implementation design review can be done into different phases from different aspects, from the performance point of view, from the functionality point of view, every aspect once it is implemented. Code inspection. The code inspection is the most formal type of review, which is a kind of static testing to avoid the defect multiplication at a later stage. So before you implement, you finalize, you inspect the code, otherwise it will multiply all the problems at later stages. The main purpose of code inspection is to find defects, and it can also spot any process improvements, if any. Security inspection is account list. You need to inspect. Now basically we completed the design review, and then we came to security inspection, and the security inspection has a code inspection for the security purpose, and account list is also the kind of security inspection whether the all data accounts should be audited periodically to determine if they have the related permissions to access the database. Accounts should also be viewed regularly to determine if current permissions are appropriate. Any offending accounts should be deleted by the database administrator or application staff. So, if you want to inspect, then it is important from the security point of view, the list of accounts should be updated. For example, if the employee has been fired, then his account definitely be terminated or suspended on immediate basis. Yeah. Vulnerable passwords. All users' passwords should be changed periodically for security reasons. More important during the installation of databases, default usernames and passwords like admin must be changed immediately after installation. Secure communication should be provided in the database using the encryption, reset, the database port. The port is a communication when there are certain default ports like 8080, and you should be able to know that what is the port. And in the networking subject, when you try to communicate with the computer, you have the URL, and any particular server listens through the port. So default ports are normally 8080, but you should change the port so that any normal location can be dealt. And block ad hoc connections from undesired locations and time of the day or through inappropriate applications can be detected and rejected by simple login triggers, database firewalls, and some access control. So ad hoc are any extra connections from the undesired locations. For example, if it is a bank server, then the server is supposed to be accessed from the branches and from the dedicated locations. Yeah, and those locations, for example, IP addresses or any of the devices which are already registered should be entertained. Otherwise, rest of them should be blocked straight away. If there is any unknown location, new location, then obviously it should be restricted. For example, you must have noticed that if you are traveling abroad, then some of the applications don't work. Maybe the internet don't work, and they restrict you that, oh, this account cannot be accessed from this country. You need some extra security checks. You must have seen this, yeah?
Yeah.
Post-implementation review. This review is conducted after a project has been completed. Purpose of post-implementation review is to evaluate how successfully the project objectives have been made and how effective the project management practices were in keeping the project on track. It is an assessment basically and review of the completed work solution. So post-implement review is the assessment and evaluation. It will be performed after a period of live running sometime after the project is completed. There are purposes for post-implementation review. Number one is to assess the degree of success, that at what level this project is successful. To examine the efficiency of all elements of the working business solution, improvements can be made. So how successful is it? How efficient is it? Is there any improvement needed? And to learn the lessons from this project, the lessons which can be used by team members and by organizations to improve future projects, work and solutions. Yeah. So that's it. So it was a kind of theoretical one, but most important points we discussed regarding the how you need to evaluate. So evaluation is much more important, not only in the database but in any kind of project you make. Yeah. So any question do you have?
Not this until I make a review.
Okay.
Yeah, till I make a review and come, because I need to make a review of all the lessons learned and then.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're most welcome to ask any question later on. Yeah, by email or in the next session. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. We end this session.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, we end this session now. I'm stopping the recording now, and you can ask anything. Well.